City Chiefs managed to get one over the Cincinnati Bengals, and it was an extremely close matchup, but it did not come at a cost. Because it did come with a cost.
Yeah, it did come with a cost.
It did come with a cost because Pacheco has a fractured, was it fibula? Fibula.
Yeah,
fibula, shin, fibula. Yeah.
So
fibula.
he has a fractured fibula, and he's expected to miss at least 6 weeks.
Crippling.
Which leaves their running back room thin because they've already got CEH out. So it is undrafted rookie Carson Steele, and it is Samaje Perine. Now we know that they've got a visit with Kareem Hunt, which is just coming full circle. But Kareem Hunt of now is not the Kareem Hunt of before. So, what do we think of this impact? So, before we even talk about the game itself, what do we think of the impact of this Isiah Pacheco injury is going to be?
Huge. They don't have like a dedicated runner. Samaje Perine can tote the rock to some degree, but Carson Steele, like go on his Wikipedia, they just straight out say fullback.
Well, no. He if you saw it, so I saw, because I watched a fair bit of the Chiefs in preseason, because obviously Louis Rizam was on the Chiefs at the time, and Carson Steele completely earned that job because yes, he's listed as a fullback / halfback, but he runs angry and he runs hard, and you can see that. Okay, he had a fumble in yesterday's game, but they had the confidence in his playing that when the game was on the line, they still put him back in the game, even despite his fumble. So clearly they have confidence in him. It's just whether they need to supplement him with another back. But the thing is, whether that back it should be Kareem Hunt, I don't know.
Yeah, no, he seems like I'm just sort of seeing footage right now. All the wonders of having multiple screens. He's a downhill runner, almost like reckless abandon style. So he uses his body as a weapon. So I kind of think, Pacheco was a good hybrid of both. Like you could almost like.
Well, he's the angriest runner at the ground. We know this.
Yeah,
but
you could almost hear him stomping his feet every step he took. So I think it'll be okay. But they're all gonna have more carries than they thought they would. So they probably will need to bring in one more person. But through free agency. Like I said, Kareem Hunt is a likelihood. But then again, if they did bring in Kareem, he's not there to be a bell cow. He's there just so that they can split the carries across these three guys.
It's going to be it'll be a three-headed monster kind of thing.
The last thing you want is any more injuries to your tailbacks, because then it would just make things even worse. So it's more often than not, it's just so that they can split carries even more. So instead of one of these guys going for, I don't know, 15, 18 carries a game, you can now probably have it 10, 8, 6 or something like that. So it's spread out.
But what this game will what the Chiefs will need to have is obviously Mahomes playing much better than he did yesterday, because he was 18 for 25. He had 2 interceptions. One of those interceptions was completely out of this world. It's possibly the best interception we have seen. One of the best interceptions we have seen. It was
absolutely. That's the play of the week.
And
so far, it's the play of the week.
And when we look at it, this game, I was watching it with some guys yesterday, and we said literally as the Chiefs were starting their last drive, I said, "All right," we said there is going to be penalty and 3rd or 4th and long. It is going to happen. We just know it. And I said, it's either going to be, he said, oh, it's going to be a PI. And I said, that, or, like a roughing the passer out, like hitting a guy, unnecessary roughness out of bounds, because we've seen that happen in the past. We were joking around, but it happened. It was a correct call. There's no doubt it was a correct call. But when it happened, I just burst out laughing because I was like, this is so predictable. It got them pretty much within field goal range, and you don't allow Butker to have a 50-yard field goal to win a game because he's going to kick it through. But it's an absolute kick in the teeth for the Cincinnati Bengals because they should have won this game.
Yeah.
They were the better team, generally, but they didn't.
Yeah, no, I mean, I remember watching it, and because it was so close, I was literally be like, damn, that's the Bengals for you. They're the kryptonite. They always find a way. It's like they are built to take on the Chiefs, and they always find a way to win. But I think the Chiefs really sort of wanted this monkey off their shoulder, and they were able to do it. Not necessarily in a convincing manner, because it could have gone either way.
Well, they got supremely lucky in this one, yeah.
Yeah. So I think deep down inside, they still know the Bengals still have our number. And they will play each other again.
It's just, but the thing is whether the Bengals can even get to the postseason, because they are 0-2.
Yep.
So them and the Ravens are 0-2. So
yeah. The Bengals do get better with time. They're one of the few teams that get better as the season goes on.
But the thing is,
can you overcome the 0-2 start though?
Yeah, that's the thing. Not many teams are able to overcome an 0-2 start, because if multiple good, what we perceive as good teams, go 0-2 to start the season, somebody's not going to make it, because obviously you're giving other people a head start.
That's correct.
But yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think. But here's the thing about Cincinnati, right? When they played, is that fact that I think they made the postseason in the Joe Burrow era, having poor starts to the point whereby, as long as they've got 9, I believe they have a great chance and they will make the postseason, because they've started poorly. I've not seen them have a bad start with Joe Burrow fully healthy and miss the playoffs, because the last couple of times they made the playoffs, where Burrow has started for a full season, they start like this, like they'll be 0-2, and then they'll end up being like 1-4, and then they go on a mad run and start putting games together.
Although, do you know what's really helping them this season? You look at the rest of the AFC, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we expect probably the Buffalo Bills to win the AFC East, just based on the way that the season started. The Patriots, I don't expect them to amount, even though they've had nobody expects that to be a full long-term season, kind of like of better play. The Dolphins, with the situation with Tua, they could be out of the running for the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And the Jets, they're not firing offensively at all.
No.
And then we look at the AFC North. Obviously, these two teams, Cincinnati Bengals and the Baltimore Ravens, are 0-2. The Browns at 1-1, but their quarterback situation is less than ideal. The Steelers don't even need to score many points to win games, with them leading the division at 2-0, and that's just Mike Tomlin being Mike Tomlin. And then you look at the AFC South, 3 teams are 0-2. So at the moment, actually, I'm going to come back on my statement. One of these teams who are 0-2 in the AFC North is making the playoffs. At least one.
Yeah.
Because you look at the rest of the league, the rest of the AFC, it's in a really bad state at the moment.
Yeah, I agree. And now the question remains is that is it going to be the Ravens or the Bengals? And it might come down to the matchups against those two teams when they play each other.
Could it be both?
I doubt that. As weak as the AFC is, I doubt that, because I think a team might rise during the later part of the stages. I mean, when you look into a team in the AFC, that might be a sneaky playoff team if people don't realize out of the AFC West could be the Raiders, because, hey, you never know, they could just sneak it. Because, listen, you never know, because I look at the Raiders as one of those teams, like for example, like yesterday's game, we weren't expecting it, but they pulled it off. And they might be on an emotional wave and start pulling off some of these games. I think there'll be win-loss, and they might end up sneaking in. But I do believe that the 0-2 teams that we are talking about today is either the Bengals or the Ravens. One of them is going to make it.
That's true.
That's,
Not both, though, right?
it's unlikely that they're both.
Yeah, not both. One of them's
So
going to make it.
yeah, there's a potential that it's unlikely that unless both teams manage to sweep against the Steelers and automatically close that gap. If both teams go 2-0 against the Steelers, you automatically close that gap, and then it's just based upon the results for the rest of the games in the season.
Yeah.
So
yeah, absolutely, and that's going to be a tough matchup because right now the Steelers are 2 games up on them.
Yeah, they're 2-0, and obviously they haven't really been moving the ball amazingly well offensively, but their defense is playing lights out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, let's see what this means for the Bengals going forward. They did improve massively on the week before, because the week before they were hapless offensively. They weren't hapless in this game. They just made an error on defense at the end of the game against the Super Bowl champions, and sometimes that happens.